Thank you so much.
Great to have you on the program, and
thank you for having me. Yes.
So I want to start out with the news of the week.
Yeah.
There have been several strikes Israel has done. The strike on Doha has really brought worldwide reaction and not very favorable. And I want to start out there. Unilateral strike. The President Trump apprised just prior, had nothing to do with it. How do you address worldwide opinion for a strike outside Israel like that in an allied country?
It's very simple. We sent a message, and the message was directly toward the Hamas leaders. You are not safe. You are not safe in Doha. You are not safe in Gaza. You are not safe anywhere. That's it. You know, do you remember, or your audience remember, the horrific pictures that we saw from Doha that was on October 7th, right after the Nukhbas terrorists invaded to the state of Israel, butchered, burned, whole families alive, by the way, raped thousands of women, and they broadcast a live broadcast from there to Doha, to Qatar, to other places, and we saw them. They were very happy. So I hope that most of them are not happy anymore. So that was a message.
Separate for me the people of Qatar and the government of Qatar and Hamas. Is there daylight there?
I would tell you, I think, and I said it, I was maybe the first Israeli official to say that Qatar, that they are playing a double game. Okay, so I will let you know why. First of all, do you know that they paid for the tunnels in the Gaza Strip for almost 15 years, or more than 15 years? Now there are, I don't know if to laugh or to cry, but they are hosting the negotiations to release the hostages that Hamas terrorists kidnapped from Israel from the tunnels that they built. So this is an example to their double game. I'm talking about the Qataris.
Understood. So when the Prime Minister, the Qatari Prime Minister, says this week that this is not going to bode well for the hostages, not a direct quote, but his message. How do you hear that? What do you do with that?
I want to tell you, I think that the only way to release our hostages is to put military pressure on Hamas. Their leaders in Doha or in the Gaza Strip. That's the only option. And the proof is that the last two deals, actually they agreed to the deals after a very heavy military pressure from our side. We want to end this war. I want to be honest with you. We don't want, most of the Israelis don't want, by the way, we don't like wars at all. They forced us. This war, again, by the way, this one as well, because we didn't start the fire. They started the fire on October 7th. And we prefer that the war will be beyond us. How? They will release all the hostages, and Hamas leaders will not be in the Gaza Strip anymore. That's it. In that day, the war will be over.
Those two items are non-negotiable for any peace process for the Israeli government.
Oh, and we have only two conditions, and we want to rebuild Gaza. We don't have nothing against most of the Gazans, okay? Even though a lot of them, in very high percentage, supports Hamas, okay? We know it. But even though we want to rebuild Gaza, let's say that the President Trump idea to build a new Riviera there is a wonderful idea.
It's on paper. I've seen the plans.
Yes, of course, yeah. And
I know.
What do you think about the new Riviera in the Gaza Strip?
Well, you know, I'm not sure that's widely publicized yet, but it does show, and I know Steve Witkoff, who is Miami Beach based, and Minister Dermer were here talking about it recently. Yeah. My question is, how does that land with the Gazans? Yeah. How do they get a seat at the table and their own self-determination?
So I will tell you, I don't think that the Gazans are the problem. The problem is that the Hamas actually conquered the Gaza Strip from the PLO, from the Palestinian Authority, during the summer of 2007. Because when Israel withdrew from, when we actually ruined the beautiful communities, Jewish communities, cemeteries, synagogues. We ruined it, and we actually gave it to the PLO, to the Palestinian Authority. Hamas took it, and they forced them, by the way. They killed them. They killed the Palestinian officers to take power in the Gaza Strip. So if Hamas terrorists will not be there, this will be a new chapter in the Gaza Strip and the Gazans story. And this is a very long story and a sad one, I have to tell you.
Yeah, and to your point, there isn't a great many percentage of people on the street who are in depth and in the weeds with the history of that region. But they are very in depth and in the weeds with the news and the headlines and the images that they see now. Mm-hmm. And the world, you've seen, the world is very much turning against Israel's actions.
Yeah, they are wrong, and I will tell you why. And I can talk a lot about the French president and the British prime minister and the Australian prime minister. So maybe they don't, I know that they remember very well why we're in this current situation. They know that it's Hamas' fault, that October 7th is the reason for the current situation in our region. They know it, but from, I have to tell you, their own political problems in United Kingdom or France or Australia, they're, as you said that they're turned against Israel. They cannot turn against the truth.
How do you disseminate the truth?
We are saying it. I think that it's very important. Let's say that if they are talking about the, by the way, it's a blood libel, about the starvation in the Gaza Strip, okay? I am saying that there is...
I'm sorry, explain blood, when you say that's a blood libel.
Is to say, like, to, you know...
How do you relate that to the starvation issue?
I will tell you, because it's a huge lie. Like the old lies about the Jews during, let's say, the last 400 or 500 years, okay? Blood libels against the Jewish people. And the starvation, the so-called starvation in Gaza campaign, this is a blood libel. Why? Because there's millions of tons of humanitarian aid and medicine that we are shipping with the help of American companies from Israel to the Gaza Strip, and they know it, but even though they are still saying that there is starvation in the Gaza Strip. No, so this is a blood libel, because it's like, you know, everybody can see this lie.
Like propaganda.
Yeah, that's right, exactly.
So President Trump, who is one of the strongest supporters of Israel in the history of American presidents,
exactly,
among others,
I agree,
has hedged on that.
Mr. President, Prime Minister Netanyahu said there's no starvation in Gaza. Do you agree with that assessment?
I don't know. I mean, based on television, I would say not particularly, because those children look very hungry.
You see, that is not his typical response.
Yeah, he said it once.
How do you
I think that he used the word starvation only once, and he never repeat, because we show him all the proofs that millions of tons of humanitarian aid, that we are moving millions of tons of humanitarian aid, and he knows, now we know, okay, that's a good example of how can we change, you know, the lie, and we are combat these lies and showing the truth, and we proved it to the president, and now he's not talking about the starvation in the Gaza Strip. Nobody in the American administration is talking about starvation, because there's no starvation.
So if we, international journalists are not allowed to independently go into Gaza to cover this, wouldn't it behoove Israel to allow that to happen, so that people who are dispassionate and have no support, no opposition, no ties, to report what you are talking about? I
think that we need to do it. I think that we need to show the world the truth, the reality, the facts in the Gaza Strip. And there are just, they are making fake campaigns. It's very easy, because the New York Times or others, they are using their fake photos of so-called hungry children from the Gaza Strip. And we saw that actually they apologized. They wrote that it's not true, that this was something else. So I think that in the end, maybe it can take something like 1 week, 1 month, 1 year, or 50 years. But the truth is much stronger than the lies, and we are proving it right now.
So this week, let's talk about Tuesday. You'll be at the United Nations. There are 100 and I forget the number, well over 100 countries who have recognized Palestinians as its own state, which is, not past the point of rhetoric at the UN level at the moment, but 3 important allies that you mentioned before, UK, France, Australia, are prepared to do the same. The UK has come out with conditions. The hostages must be released, is one of them.
But they want to declare the Palestinian state next week. The hostages will release until next week? I don't think so. I want to tell you something about it. First of all, there is a United Nations a resolution about the Palestinian state.
Yes.
We know 181 resolution from 1947. The United Nations voted for a Palestinian state and a Jewish state. But what was the response of the Arabs then? A terror attack and another terror attack and another terror attack, and they refused then in 1947, and then they never, by the way, missed opportunity about the Palestinian state. Let's take the example of the Camp David summit during the summer of 2000. Prime Minister Ehud Barak offered them a Palestinian state with as Jerusalem as a capital, and they refused. Why? Then Prime Minister Ehud Olmert offered them, not to Arafat, to Abu Mazen. He offered him a Palestinian state. What did he say? He never called him back. I think that more than 80% of the Israelis are against the idea of a Palestinian state, and I'm talking about Judea, Samaria, and the Gaza Strip. Okay? Why? Because we learned the lesson from October 7th. What was the lesson from October 7th? That if we withdraw from a territory, okay, then we will not get a peace. We will get a terror attacks, and that's what happened on October 7th. Tunnels to the state of Israel, missiles, thousands of missiles toward the state of Israel. Why? What was the problem in the Gaza Strip on October 7th? Nothing. They just want to kill. They just want to kill Jews. Now we can't afford ourselves.
You're talking about Hamas and maybe
yes,
Hezbollah, but there are, to your point, there are Palestinian Israelis right now. I mean, we've met some in East Jerusalem some years ago who really held out hope for that two-state solution. They'd be very happy having their own country right there next to Israel.
It's not their land; it's our land. I'm sorry to
the existential question.
To ruin the party. But Judea, it's the place that the Jewish people came from. I'm a Jew because my fathers came from Judea. Okay, that was the very first capital of Israel 3,000 years ago, declared by King David. Where are the Palestinians until 1967?
You do lead me into someplace that I really wanted in the short time that we have together. We're in divided times. The assassination of Charlie Kirk this week, a young conservative influencer.
It's a sad day.
Really shows and broadens out and puts right out in the headlines how divided and in such an ugly way the U.S. can be. And I feel like the world has sort of erupted like that, and Israel is right in the middle of it.
It's not only the United States. I think that most of the democracies around the world are suffering from the violence, and the democracies, not other countries, the modern democracies, the Western world. So in the name of the freedom of speech, I don't know, this murderer was thinking that he can kill Kirk. It's unbelievable. I said, it was 2018. It was a debate in the Knesset, the Israeli parliament. I said that we must, stop with all the shoutings and the, yellings, chantings. We must talk, even though we have different opinions.
Does that apply in the Israeli
I'm
situation in the war right now?
I'm trying to do it. That was my behavior as a member of the parliament, as a minister. I said to my colleagues from other parties, let's talk. We can talk. It's impossible, this current situation. And you described the situation in the United States. It's the same, United Kingdom, all over Europe. And I'm very sorry. I think that we must turn back the clock and to debate like 20 or 25 years ago. I don't know, maybe it's the influence of the TikTok and the other, the Instagram, the Facebook, but we must stop it because we just saw the tragedy this week in Utah, and I want to send my condolences to his family, to his wife and lovely kids.
Ambassador, it's great to talk to you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.